It's convicted felon party time. Plus, gold beats the euro. I'm wearing a hat. Why is that? Plus, we do some subscriber show and tell. If you're watching this on the replay, use the time codes below, people. But if you're watching this live, you get to enjoy everything we do here on Good Morning Stackers, your week daily live show all about gold, silver, bullion, economic news, sometimes a little political, quite possibly. It's convicted felon party time. Why am I doing that? Could it be a little tongue-in-cheek? You'll have to use the time codes below to go to that part. But here's what we do in the first 1 minute of the show. Get your shout-outs in. We do the Synchronised Slurp. That is where you grab a tasty beverage. We're going to do a celebratory Synchronised Slurp. It's convicted felon party time here today. Here we go in the first minute of the show in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why am I wearing a hat? I'll have to explain that. I'll explain convicted felon party time. And we'll talk about a little bit of news. Gold's beating the euro as one of the international reserves of the world. We'll talk about that. We'll share that news. And we have some subscriber show and tell as well from one of our beautiful, lovely, wonderful subscribers. Let me know that you can hear me, you can see me. Of course you can. And we'll do some quick shout outs. It is convicted felon party time. I won't do that every single time. But you know what I'm talking about. And maybe my take on this might be quite interesting. So GMS says, Pete says, GMS, hey Pete, I'll give you a shout out. I'll give you a heads up now, people. It's Pete Repeats subscriber show and tell today. So it's Pete Repeats' turn. I think he did one before. We've got another bit of subscriber show and tell from Pete Repeat. CT says from Texas, GMS, Hazza says, GMS Black Coal is in the house, and it sounds like you're staying because you're not saying GMS, I got to run too. I'm in and out. So excellent. Here we go. Here we go. It's convicted. I'm here to see what is said about that post in the Silver Degen Club forum from GMS. You welcome to Red Heifer Warhorse. Now, it is convicted felon party time. I will get to that very, very quickly, Red Heifer. Trust me, I'm on your side. I'll just say that much. But I'm having a party. It is party time for convicted felon party time for the reasons that the normal people, the other people are celebrating it. We're going to celebrate it for a different reason. So I hope that title of the show, and really did too, the title of that thing really got you in here. That was the reason. But it is a party time, and I'm not joking. It's convicted felon party time. Red Heifer, but by the way, more so the first bit there, of course. But what we do here at Red Heifer is we do gold, silver, platinum analysis, and then we do our other sort of stuff, and then we do the topic of the day. If you want, you don't have to stay around, but if you want to, please do. Or you can watch on the replay and go straight to the time code. But it's convicted felon party time. And I'm wearing a hat. I'll explain that too. GMS says Brundlefly. Tony Peterson, GMS. My tongue and cheek is ready for the beverage. Yep. Synchronized Slurp. I hope you, Red Heifer, you got it. Red Heifer, I hope you get to White's party time quickly. No, I'll do what I want. So what I'll say, this is my show, and this is the GMS family. So I'm so glad that you're watching, and I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. I guarantee you, this is what you would want to be part of this GMS family, because we're all like-minded people here. You can already tell what Convicted Felon Party Time is all about. So you will have to wait though, or go away, come back, use the time codes in around about 45 minutes, something like that. Good morning, everyone. Hazza with the sun. Yeah, I took you as based. Don't know what that means. Oh, based. Thanks. So I'm glad I wasn't mistaken in those earlier streams. Don't know. I've been here for several of your streams. Oh, fantastic. I had to apologize for making one a bit spicy. Oh, I don't remember. Was that under a different handle? Maybe you've been here before. My apologies. But Convicted Felon Party Time is in the house. It's a great day. It's a great day. And I think most of you know why. We'll get to that, of course. Let's do some quick, we'll do some quick shout out for, and we'll get to it in just a second. Let me just see. Let me show you here, of course. We do our quick few announcements. Let's share the screen. It is Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, Australia's first dealer to offer express shipping on all discount volumes. First bullion dealer in Australia to offer free shipping on any kind of quantity. No other business in Australia has done it previously. It's been hard. It's been logistically whatever. Some people just didn't want to do it. It's just, it's too hard. We can't do it because shipping prices are too much. Australia, Perth Bullion Exchange decided, no, we're going to be the first. We're the Mavericks and we're going to do it. So you buy over a certain amount. It doesn't even have to be that much. A tube of maples, 20 Scottsdale 1 ounce silver rounds. Okay, you get free shipping Australia-wide, and it's express too, sign-on delivery, the whole thing. Let's check out to see if today's special is in. Just going to type in that, and then we'll get to all the other stuff that we're doing here. What's the special? Okay, all right, interesting. Looks like they still have, that's interesting. The special is still on for the 1 ounce Scottsdale Michael Archangel bars, and the intrinsic tender round bars are still on special as well. Today's special mustn't be... Oh, it might be. I think I know what's happening today. Oh, that's right. Today's the last day of the month for Perth Bullion Exchange's 30 days of specials. I think what's happening today, you might be very surprised. So head over to perthbullion.com.au. I think from memory, after speaking to Ricky recently, who's the owner of Perth Bullion Exchange, because they're my brand partner, I think everything that was previously on special might be going back on special today. So I'll have to double check that. So check out the Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au. I'm going to go back here. And now, you know what I'll do. Today, I'm going to swap over for red heifer, and I'm going to do it now. So instead of doing silver, gold, and platinum analysis, we'll do that in the middle, and then we'll go to the end. And we'll talk about how gold is beating the euro. So right now, time code. We're mixing it up, people. Number one, well, actually, not time code yet. Why am I wearing a hat, just by the way? Because I had a gig last night, and I don't know if you can see it, and maybe I'm giving away, not giving away anything. You can maybe still see some of the, what is that called? Eyeliner? I don't know what it is. But I wore a wig and eyeliner last night, people. No, it's nothing like that. I'm a singer, and sometimes I work with a band called Stand and Deliver, and they're an 80s tribute band. And yes, so I had a whole 80s gear on, like a flock of seagulls, wig, and a bit of eyeliner, or a bit of whatever you call it, mascara, eyeliner, I don't know what you call it. So it was a late night last night, a little bit croaky, but I was dancing around on stage singing 80s classics, Summer of 69, and Jesse's Girl, and, some of the other 80s stuff as well. So it was a good time. That's why I'm wearing a hat. Time code. Convicted felon party time. Convicted felon party time. Convicted felon party time, people. Why? Because Trump is now a convicted felon. This is absolutely bloody fantastic. I certainly hope there are a lot of people on here who are celebrating. I want to get all the people in here who are celebrating convicted felon party time for the real reason, because you're genuinely excited. I actually am genuinely excited. It's convicted felon party time, but for the reasons, or for the normal reasons, bring all in those Trump haters. Come in, people, because it's a convicted felon party time. Let's do a bit of a DJ air horn. Boom, boom, boom. Convicted felon party time. Party noisemaker. And let's give some applause. Slow clap. For convicted felon party time. Why? Why do you think? This, in my opinion, and quite a few other people's opinion, is a great thing. It's probably I would say it's a great thing, and I'm going to celebrate it rather than be now he's a convicted felon. What's going to happen to is he going to win? Is he not going to win? All that stuff. If anything, let me put it this way. How did being a convicted felon work out for 50 Cent? If anything, this has bolstered the right-leaning community and also the moderates and the independents, which is really what you're trying to capture. You're in a political election, you're not trying to convince the other side to come to your side. You're trying to convince the independents and the moderates, the centrists, to lean in your direction. If you can pick up 3%, an extra 3% can probably tick you over the line. And I'm telling you now that because he is now a convicted felon, that has bolstered a bunch of moderates, a bunch of independents who were like, I don't know, I'm not sure about Trump anymore. I just don't know about Trump. I didn't vote him in the last one, but I can see where the economy's going. And now they've been watching this absolute sham trial. By the way, I think this show is either going to be one of my most popular or it's going to be the least popular because of the YouTube algorithm and all that. If you're watching YouTube, oh well, it is what it is. And so I think, if anything, this is a positive. So it's convicted felon party time. Oh. How do you feel about it? I can tell you, this is the funny thing, right? Okay, so number one, I'm not in America. I just live in Australia. I can't vote in a US election. And even I, from just as you would obviously call me a more right-leaning person. Even I'm fired up today, and you can tell, right? And I'm turning that energy into a positive party time energy, because I can't see it going any other way now. Imagine if, and what's happening is his sentencing, Trump's sentencing is going to be 4 days from the GOP convention. Now, we all know he's the presumptive, no, he's the nominee, right? We all know he's the nominee. But I'll get to your comments. But be happy, Red Heifer. Be happy about it, because you should be. You can do what you want, but that's just my opinion. I'm happy about it because I can't see now any other way that this November 5th goes. How can it? Particularly with the African American population, the Hispanic population as well. Do you know how much he's been gaining according to polls? And you can believe whatever polls, is it Rasmussen polls or whatever polls or whatever. But it seems even the left-leaning polls, it does seem, and people have been talking about it on CNN and other places, that his support within, say, minority communities has just been growing, and it's steadily growing. And I'm not making a connection between being a convicted felon and minorities being happy about it. No. What I'm talking about is the fact that it is very damn clear that this was a complete sham trial, and now there's an actual convicted felon thing. That's just bringing him more to the forefront. I guarantee you, in my humble opinion, I could be completely wrong, but I guarantee this is positive for Trump. And that's why we're having convicted felon party time. Oh yeah. Imagine if 4 days before the GOP convention, they put him in jail. Can you imagine that? Imagine. Now, the only thing that we worry about is that will that then disclude him from being a nominee? I don't know the answer to that, but can you imagine the complete and utter uproar that will happen if that is the case? If he is then discluded from being a presidential nominee, if he goes to jail for, and I haven't said the following, but I'll paraphrase it. Some other people have been saying this thing. If he is put in jail for even 1 day, you're going to see I think some kind of incredible, let's call it an uproar. No one wants, and no one recommends, and no one all that. You want peaceful protests, all that sort of stuff. But can you just imagine the amount of energy that there's going to be? Now, none of us hope we get to even that point. Of course, don't want Trump to go to jail. Don't want him to have jail for even one day. Of course, we want the sentencing to be light enough, and we want him still to be, in my personal opinion, I want him to be able to run. And if he is still able to run, which I think it will happen, I think it'll be fine. It's just a complete landslide, in my humble opinion. That's why, for me, I'm going to stay positive and going to have convicted felon party time. So it's party time, I think. And you do you. Please, we've all got our concerns and all that, but I just don't see it going any other way. So that's why, for me, convicted felon party time. So that's the reason why we're having convicted felon party time here at Good Morning Stackers. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do another synchronized slurp, a celebratory synchronized slurp for convicted felon party time. Can I say it anymore? Here we go. 3, 2. So I wanted to get that out of the way for Red Heifer. I'm going to read your comments now. And then we'll do silver, gold, platinum analysis. And then we'll talk about how gold is beating the euro at the moment as an international reserve. So we'll look at share a bit of news as well. So let's read a few things and do some shout outs. We didn't even do we did some shout outs this morning. Yes, we did. And we'll do some more right now. Yes, I changed. Okay. So Red Heifer said, yes, I changed handles each time for some reason. Okay. I think it was version plurb at the time. Okay. All right. So good. Now you say, Red Heifer says, I'm just a bit on edge today, a little jittery, what with the fall of my republic judicial system and whatnot. This has not, let me just put it this way, Red Heifer, it hasn't dissuaded you from voting for Trump. If anything, it's fired you up, and there is no stopping you now in terms of making sure that your vote is counted, making sure you get there on election day, and all that sort of stuff. Making sure that now you're reaching out to others. You're really fired up, and you probably might reach out to others now and try and convince some independents or some moderates. You may get a little bit more active on social media. You might be part of the groundswell that is now occurring since convicted felon party time. So if anything, it's bolstering you and everyone who thinks like you as well. And I just know there are a bunch of independents in my gut. I know there are independents, and there are people standing back a little bit, going, "No, too far. Now you've gone too far. Complete sham trial. Now you've gone too far." And it's go time. Mascara. Yes, I was aware. Is that what it is? That stuff that you put under your eye? Mascara. So yes, if you're just joining the show, convicted felon party time. We're celebrating Trump being convicted, not for the reasons you think. It's just going to bolster his win, I think. I certainly hope. So sorry for the people who don't love Trump and all that. That's okay. You do you, and I won't call you any bad names. But imagine, I can imagine people thinking of some bad things, even possibly people in my personal life, friends or family or just Facebook people, thinking, oh, this guy, he loves Trump. I love Trump. I would have voted for him in the last election. I would have voted for him in 2016. And I would vote for him if I had the chance. But you have your ideas and I have my ideas. And we can agree to disagree. Yes, sorry, mascara. If you're just joining, I'm wearing a hat and you might still see some mascara. I had a gig last night, an 80s gig. I don't do this very often, people. That's what I'm trying to say. Did you run so far away? I'm not sure what that means, but that's all right. You are too happy for my liking. Yeah, you got to be positive about it, and I can only see the positives at the moment. I can only see the positive unless he gets discluded from being the nominee. Drew's in the house. GMS, can't stay long. Stuff to do on the farm right now. Fantastic. Have to watch the vid later. Well, you'll get to enjoy convicted felon party time over and over again. If every politician that ever paid hush money got prosecuted, the courts would be backlogged for years. As I've said before, governments, and let me state all the stuff. I'm a patriotic person. I pay my taxes. I do all that stuff, and I do everything legal and above board and all that. But of course, bear in mind, as I said yesterday, governments are people. People are ruled by incentives, and if the incentives are aligned so that corruption and cheating is easy to do and easy to get away with because you can hide in the complexity of regulations, then it will happen every single time. If there's enough incentive, if there's enough positive incentive to do something, it will get done. If there's enough negative incentive to not do something, that thing won't get done. Most people don't murder other people because of consequences. So there's positive and negative consequences, and government is just people. So the way that our system designed, the way that the governmental system is designed in general, not every single country, maybe some more than others, but pretty much everyone, government, because it's a collection of people who are ruled by incentives, naturally over time lean to more and more corruption. You can't have a government without some kind of level of corruption. You can have very small governments, very limited governments, and that would lower the incentive for corruption. But the bigger the government, the longer it's been around, the more corruption. That just is what it is. Trump for the win, says Tony Peterson. Red Heifer says, that's okay, and we can agree to disagree. Red Heifer says, I do not approve of your display of joy, but I do agree with your line of thought. Although after a blah, blah, blah election and trial, sham trial, I don't know if it'll work next time. Oh, it certainly won't. It won't work next time. It won't work this time. I think he's going to have, again, I could be wrong, but I just think you're going to be up, if you're up over 10, I've been saying, and other people have been saying about 10 points, 10 percentage points as the favorite. I would lean to say maybe 10 to 15. 10 to 15 points up on election day, and then it's still, there's still some nefarious things going on. No one will believe it. No one will believe this time if the other guy wins. If Trump's up by 10 to 15 points, 10 plus points, yeah, let's go with that. And the other guy wins? Nah, man. Black Coal says, I understand your logic of happiness now. Good. I set you up with the title and the intro, and so now your take is any publicity is good publicity. Yes. But I genuinely believe this. It is convicted felon party time. It's a party time. We should be celebrating because this is only bolstering, I think, his case for winning, in my humble opinion. Sure, you can vote. Sure, you can vote. Here we go. Sure, you can vote, saying I can't vote in US elections. No, I can't. But Red Heifer says, sure, you can vote. Just immigrate here illegally here and they'll house you, give you a prepaid Visa card, feed you, free bus and airfare, registration to vote. Yeah, and all kinds of stuff with your inflated tax dollars, with your inflated dollars. That is absolutely true. Mark Fleming, new to this chat. GMS, everyone. Welcome, Mark. Did you come on board because of my lovely title about convicted felon party time? I hope you did, and I hope you now understand. That's why I wanted to do the topic at the start rather than doing all the stuff beforehand. Brundlefly says, if we get to elections, it will be hard for the Dems to cheat and get away with it this time around, particularly if Trump is again up 10 points or more. It'll be so obvious, and it already is obvious. Tony Peterson says, we're forced to vote in Australia. Yes, that is true. Red Heifer, I can honestly say I have no idea what is coming in the next 6 months. This is a wild feeling in my life. Half a century I've been kicking about. Wow, you're already up to the halfer. I'm nearly there, actually. I'm getting close. I'm only a few years off. And welcome, Mark. Yes, welcome, Mark Fleming. Great to see you. I hope, Red Heifer says, I love that you're so active on the live right now, Red Heifer. I hope for a financial revolution in hopes of avoiding a real one. I hear what you're saying. Black Coal says, according to an article on the Australian, Trump's campaign donation portal, yes, WinRed experienced an outage just before, a couple of hours ago, after the trial's verdict as Google searches for Donald Trump donation spiked. Yes. I was on Twitter before, and yes, the same thing. Some people reporting that. I was going to just quickly check, and I'll just show you over here. Let's have a quick check as well, and we'll talk about gold, silver, and platinum, etc. I just want to double check. Am I live? Yes. People, if you're not already there, I've only got like 4 followers. Head over to x.com, twitter.com, x.com/GM Stackers. GM Stackers right there, because I am live now as well. So I've got a Twitter, an X profile, and I'm just streaming live there now as well. No one's watching, but that's okay because you're watching on YouTube and I have 4 followers, so it doesn't really matter. But head over there. And what else? Some last comments, then we'll do gold, silver analysis, then we'll talk about gold beating the euro as a reserve. But I think we're going to spend a bit of time talking about this. It is assumed the platform has been inundated with donations from loyal supporters. Did you run so far away? Oh, sorry. Yes. And I ran so far away. Sorry. And do you do 80 songs? You even said Flock of Seagulls. That's sorry. Oh my God. Yep. Da, 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 da. We actually didn't do Iran today. We didn't do it. Well, last night we didn't do Iran. We did, a bunch of other songs. We did In Excess. We did Don't Change. We did Just Can't Get Enough. I Just Can't Get Enough. And, some daggy 80s stuff, of course. We did George Michael. We did, and there's a female singer as well. So you do Walking on Sunshine and I'm So Excited and all that stuff. We built this city. So all the classic 80s stuff we did, but we didn't do Iran. It wasn't part of the set, but I have done it before. But now I get the reference. Did you run so far away? Of course. Red Heifer says, clickbait title got me. Good. I'm glad it did, and I'm glad now you know the reason why we're having a convicted felon party time. Mark, I've been following your trajectory for some years, Joe. Okay. I thought I recognized the last name. Just out of interest, I've worked... So, if you don't know who I am, you've clickbait title and you got to here, I'm Joe Main. I've worked in the precious metals industry in Australia for 11 years at some of the most major bullion dealers in Australia. And, you know, some in particular that weren't major when I started. Literally, I was one of their first employees. I was their first employee, one particular one. And I helped build, launch, and grow the business, particularly on the social media side. One Bullion business in particular, I launched and grew their YouTube channel from scratch, from 0 subscribers to almost 0 customers, brand new business, to nearly 20,000 subscribers by the time I left the company, and deck of millions of dollars of turnover for the business, in part because of what I did for the social media, and of course everyone else too, though it's not just me. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And so maybe that's where you know me from, Mark. So maybe I served you in store, quite possibly. David Williams says, he will go down in history as Donald the Great. Most Aussies love Trump. Oh, I wouldn't say that. Tony, I wouldn't say that. Maybe in your circle, quite possibly, but it's still probably like half the country yes, half the country no. I wouldn't say most, though. Hazza says, haha, great song. Yes, that's right. Oh, thank you. That's nice. Joe's a legend in the industry. Well, I appreciate that. I've been through multiple bullion dealers. ran through them. And I ran through bullion dealers. I've been through a few. 3 of the major bullion dealers I've worked for here in Australia. And now I do the GMS show. I have a brand partner, which is Perth Bullion Exchange. I don't work for them, but I work with them. And I do this Good Morning Stackers show every single weekday. Hit the big red subscribe button to join, because you get things such as gold, silver, and platinum analysis every single weekday. So we've talked about the convicted felon party time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just use the time codes below, but you saw it beforehand. So here's what we're going to do. Edit says, most Aussie stackers love Trump. Yes, I will go with that. If you're a stacker, you're usually leaning in a certain political direction. And I will say, for a lot of people, you might start leaning more and more in that direction as you stack. So some people just stack to invest in something, and then they get down that rabbit hole, and then you start leaning in that direction. So, time codes. Let's do some gold, silver, and platinum analysis, party people. Once again, head over to my Twitter handle right there. I am live on Twitter right now. But we are going to go, let's take a look at, I'm going to do gold first. Here we go. We'll go gold, then do silver. Here is gold on the daily time frame. We're using the tradingview.com website, priced in USD. $2,343. Ooh, this is really interesting. So the gold to silver ratio I'll show you as well. That's just jumped up, but very interesting. Okay, all right, here we go. We're back above on the daily time frame. We're back above right now, for now, this downtrend line. So welcome to all the new people watching live. This is what I do. This is my technical analysis. I do a quick bit of gold, silver, and platinum technical analysis. We look at the gold to silver ratio, and then we do a topic of the day. I did that earlier. But this is gold, silver. We always do it in USD because it's the world's reserve currency. And we had been talking about, I'll put this on the 4-hour. We had been talking about the fact that we broke out of this downtrend line. Obviously, we had that new all-time high. So basically, the quick rundown for the newbies, 2,400 was a final hurdle. After we broke here, $2,430, we were back down in this range. I was talking about how 2,400 would be a final hurdle for new all-time highs. This is before then. Then we cracked, we made this little high right here, which was at $2,380. That formed this yellow downtrend line. Then we're talking around about here. Well, to see new all-time highs coming soon, we've got to break 2,400. So we broke 2400. It remained a support on a daily time frame. So I'm saying, all right, that's the final hurdle. We're going to make new all-time highs really soon. We did make new all-time highs at that 2,450 US dollar mark. Unfortunately, we did not hold it as support. It was a fast move to the downside, and we also broke this downtrend line right here back down to a key level of support at 2330. And then just recently, we've been talking about we have to break back out of this downtrend line. We have to break up and hold it, retest, and hold it as support. It was a failed move here, back down. It was another failed move here just recently, so another fast move to the downside. But out of interest on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, we had already gone into extremely oversold on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, and we've had a potential. Is this a potential double bottom in silver? I don't know, but out of interest, we've gone into extremely oversold on the 4-hourly time frame, not the daily. My apologies. It's the 4-hourly, and then we've had a move up here, a move back down, but it found support in the normal range of the relative strength index, and we're bouncing back up as well. And with gold, let me undo that right here. We're now back above in the last overnight for Australia. Overnight, we've headed back above this downtrend line, and so far it's respecting it as support. Could this be the test? Could this be what we need to see? So a break above, test as support, and then onwards and through, hopefully 2,350 US dollars. That's the next little hurdle for me. I've been talking about it. Resistance level was level of support, resistance, blah, blah, blah. So 2,350 needs to break above and hold above, at least on a daily time frame, in order to, preferably weekly, in order to say, okay, onwards and upwards we go. So positive for gold for right now, where we are right now. That's pretty much it. So on the daily time frame, we've opened, here's the thing, I talk about fake outs a lot. We've opened the day up. No, not auto. There we go. No, logarithmic. I want logarithmic. I don't know what happened there, but that's okay. Let me change that. Sorry, gang. We have opened the day up, but you got to watch out for the fake outs within the first few hours of a day. Within the first, say, 4 to 8 hours of a 24-hour period when you open the new day, you got to watch out for the fake out, where it looks, we're heading up, people, and then bang. So the fact that we're above this downtrend line, great to see, but don't expect it's just going to stay above there. Could be a fake out, but we just don't want to close the day below it. Closing the day below this downtrend line says, we're probably coming up for another test of 2,330. The more you test an area, the more likely it is to be taken out, and then we would head down to 2,305, roughly. I'd love to see the day close above this downtrend line. Gives me a lot of more confidence to say, we're heading up, onwards and upwards. On the relative strength index, it looks like we may have on the daily time frame. Let me remove that. I know I'll try not to move this chart around too much. Some people get a little bit seasick. I hear Dramamine's good for that. But you have this top out. We've already been in extremely overbought on the daily time frame. This is a very key time frame, the daily, obviously. But look, we've been in a range we've been in a rough kind of trading range on the relative strength index. So we've been hovering. Could we be bottoming out here? I don't know, but they've got clear support on the relative strength index around about 47-ish. So we want to see that hold. That's all I'm going to say. So got to close above the day. Close the day above this downtrend line, then we can say, looking positive. If it closes below, maybe not. That's all I'm going to say. That's my wonderful technical analysis. For all the newbies watching, I do have a target. Look, I'll keep it here at the moment. 2,420 was a key Fibonacci level. I'll keep that there for now, but because we came so close to 2,450 US dollars, it's probably more likely to be taken out. So I would say if we take out 2,450, that's probably not an area of resistance anymore, and we'd just be sailing and making new all-time highs in the weeks and months to come. But we've got to get over those few hurdles first. That is gold in USD. Let's do silver in USD. We are above, so far, the final hurdle, my final hurdle of 31 US dollars. If you're new to the channel, 31 US dollars is my final hurdle. That if we close the month of May, and I have to stick with my guns, if we close the month of May above 31, it's a very, very key Fibonacci level from a very old high and a very old low. I'll quickly show you right now. Let's just go to the weekly. and see right here from the old highs and the old lows. Sorry, I'll take you to the monthly very quickly. Thanks for your patience, everyone. From the old highs and the old lows, old highs of the 80s, old lows of the 90s, the 0.618 Fibonacci, which is the key Fibonacci, is at 31 US dollars. That is my final hurdle to say, if we close any month above $31, it has to close the month though, and we're in the last day of May, then I have to say we are 100% in a bull market, not 99.99% there, 100% there. Even if we dip below it, I would say, because we closed the month above 31, I have to stick with my guns and say 100% bull market. Could I be wrong? Yes, of course. Could we tank from there? Yeah, of course. Anything can happen. But I'll stick with my guns. But on the daily time frame, we have already been in extremely overbought on the daily. We're not there yet, but look, is that a potential double top right there? Out of interest, we did talk about, and this happened overnight, we had that move down, and I'll show you here on the Fibonacci. We had been talking about the 0.786 Fibonacci level right here. From this high and this low, we're talking about, we've been flirting with $32. See that 0.786 Fibonacci? We've been flirting with it. It finally did not act as support. So oftentimes from a failed move, it failed to hold that key Fibonacci level of $32. Oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction, and we saw it all the way down to, what do you know, 31, right? Pretty much bang on the money, 31 US dollars, because it has been, and it is a key Fibonacci level. Right there, the low was technically $31.01 or 2 cents. Bang on the money. I just love how Fibonacci for me works very, very clearly. Why 31 and not 30? And what's a psychological value? $30 is psychological value. Why not 30? Why hasn't it gone all down to there yet? Because 31 is a key Fibonacci level on the very long-term time frame. So I need to see it hold for today. If it doesn't, then I'd be looking for line in the sand. Let's call the line in the sand for me. I'm going to do this on the fly. If we do break 31, just watch out for $30.60 right there. But yeah, no, I'd say 31, we're probably going to come potentially back down to test the further lows of $29.80. If we test $29.80 again, I don't know if we're going to bounce there. Watch out for the potential head and shoulders pattern there, but just watch out for $29.80 as a support level in my humble opinion. I don't think the $30 psychological value will hold this time. It was held right here. I don't think it'll hold. So we need to stay above $31 for the month of May, and then we can talk about higher prices, and we've got to get over this $32 hump. That's pretty much it for silver. For my new subscribers, which are hopefully getting a whole bunch in the next 24 hours because of my clickbaity but true title of having a convicted felon party time, which it is for me, and I'll ever explain the reasons. But for the new subscribers, if you're in the precious metals, 37 to 40 US dollars is my current topping out for 2024. That's where I think it reasonably can get to in 2024. Happy to be wrong and we shoot through the moon and all that sort of stuff. But I'm going to stick with that for now. 37 to 40 for 2024 is the most reasonable high target. We might close below there, sure, but I'm just saying probably no higher than 37 to 40 US dollars for 2024. I'm sticking with my guns on that. You may have a different opinion, and you're welcome to, and post your comments below if you do. So that is silver. We're going to do the gold to silver ratio quickly because we've done gold, we've done silver. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that we had, looking like we were in a double bottom on the relative strength index, and would there be a likelihood, and I thought there was a decent likelihood, that we could tick up from here and see the gold to silver ratio come back up to the resistance level of 75. What happened overnight, people? Looks like it was a double bottom. I didn't call it. I wasn't saying 100% a double bottom, but it was looking very double bottomy on the relative strength index right here on the daily time frame. You can see that. We came back down. Usually you don't see much lower on the extremely undervalued for gold range than lower than here. It's very rare that you'll get much, much lower. So that's what I was thinking. It might have more so been a double bottom. I just posited that it might. And then we have seen overnight straight right back up to the resistance level, which I thought it would be, was previous support. It got taken out, and then resistance level looking very, it closed probably It closed around that 75 level right there. So it's acting as resistance right now. In order for gold to continue to take center stage, you would want to see it hold the 75 level and then bounce up from there. It's looking more, I'm going to say, because we have been in extremely undervalued for gold on the relative strength index on the daily time frame, it looks more likely to be more than a 50% chance that the gold to silver ratio continues to rise over the next day or two. I'm going to say that. Where could we rise to? I'm not saying it's going here, but you've got the very clear resistance level of 80 right there, and it also may coincide with the big downtrend line all the way from when gold hit 1 to 125 on the gold to silver ratio. Did you buy silver back then? Imagine buying silver back then and swapping it for gold anywhere down here. But it's looking like it may potentially, 50-50 chance, more than a 50% chance, come up and retest this downtrend line. It's around about the 80 level. So will gold be taking center stage? Will silver not close the month of May over or at over $31? And do we see a decline in silver? Gold maybe just ranges for a bit, but then that's why you would see the gold to silver ratio come back up to that level. So just keep that 80 level in your mind, around about there. But on the relative strength index, on the daily time frame, it looks like it's ticking upwards. So we've got some more room to move for gold to outshine silver in the next few days at least. So that's the gold to silver ratio. That's my call, and I will stick with it. Finally, let's do poor old platinum, and then we'll do some more comments, and then we'll talk about gold beating the euro right here. So I have to cancel. I have to say that for silver, we've been talking about it. We're still in I'm not excited territory. We're in the ho-hum whatever territory. We had that move up to, I was in excited territory here. We're back down in this range. So basically we had this move up to nearly 1,070. The short answer for platinum, I'm just in the ho-hum whatever par for course platinum thing. For the new subscribers, I need to see it hold $990. If it doesn't hold 990, then I'm in depression mode again for platinum. It just does what it does to me every single time since February of 2021, pretty much. And it'll be back in this normal range. It's like, whatever. My case for that is the fact that we've been in overbought on the daily time frame, and looks like we're trending down on the daily as well. What would negate that? Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Weeklies hasn't been in overbought on the weekly time frame for a while, but look at this big weekly candle, and we're about to close the week soon, so that's not a good weekly candle. It's, we had a spike, but look at that wick. It's huge, and we're now back in this range. Not great for platinum. I need to see it hold 1,000 and we call it 1,007 US dollars, 1,005, 1,007 US dollars. Otherwise, we make a play for 990, and then that really has to bounce right there. Should have put my phone on silent. Give me 1 second. Yeah, put it on vibrate. Right there. And so that's it, par for course. For the new subscribers, I'm not getting excited until we're back in this range, and then I'm really excited once we will have a platinum bull party when it hits over 1,150 US dollars. That's my final hurdle for platinum. That's all I'm going to say. So we're in the whatever range for platinum. So that has been your gold, silver, platinum. We've done the gold to silver ratio. Let's take a few more of your comments. Then we'll be talking about how gold has beaten the euro as an international reserve, according to some people's calculations. No, actually, I'm going to go straight to that now, and then I'm going to do your final comments. So, after I talk about this gold beating the euro thing, get your final comments in. If you want to still talk about the convicted felon party time, I'll go through all those comments, do all the shout outs, then we'll end the show. So let's talk about now, time code. Gold, according to at least one person, is beating the euro now as an international reserve. What am I talking about? Let me share the screen and I'll show you the article right here. So let me share that screen, people. Give me a second. Right here. Okay, so this comes from this is from Gainesville Coins. This comes from Gainesville Coins, news. Okay, so obviously, it might be one of those news aggregate things that a lot of bullion dealers do. But out of interest, Gainesville in the United States, they were They were the bullion dealer that I bought my very first silver from in 2010. I bought a 100 ounce Johnson Matthey silver bar and an old Engelhard vintage silver bar. I know how long I have those ones, but and it was a sad day. I had to let them go. And it was actually literally a bit of a sad, it's like, oh. But I bought them from international. So an Australian brought from the US deal. I had to pay the GST and all that stuff. Got stuck with that. Or the import taxes and all that stuff. I got caught out with that. But I love Gainesville coins. So if you're in the States, buy from Gainesville coins. But here is the article from Jan, that last name. Let's not even going to pronounce it. But it says, gold overtakes euro in global international reserves. Let's read it together. Sturdy central bank gold buying since 2009 and a rising gold price has grown the precious metal's share of global international reserves to the detriment of fiat currencies. By the end of 2023, gold surpassed the euro as a global international reserve, and the next gold surpassed euro, and the next fiat currency to be challenged by that is the US dollar. That's probably got a long, long way to go. But according to some calculations, international reserves are now more in gold than they are in the euro. This is amazing. Let's check it out. Look at that beautiful gold right there. And we've got some charts as well. Often, when financial analysts draw charts on the distribution of international reserves, they focus on foreign exchange, omitting gold, and the charts start when the euro was first introduced in 1999. Based on such charts, the dollar's share of total reserves appears to be falling slowly, from a peak of 72% in 2001 to 58% in 2023. In addition, it seems there is not one specific currency that is competing with the dollar based on this chart. So when they do the charts, they don't include gold as part of their measurements. Okay, but here we go. But why not include gold and look at as far back as possible? Yeah, why not? By combining multiple sources, we get a glimpse of the dissemination of reserve currencies from 1899, from 1900 until 1935, both in fiat and gold, and a full picture starting from 1950. So here's this chart here. Can you see it? Yes, you can. Above my head right there, you can see all of it. And so obviously there's the gold portion right there. When you include gold, look at that. Of course, back in the 1900s, it's mostly, gold is mostly the international reserve, and a steady decline, a bit of a rise back in the 1930s. And then, of course, what happened in 1930, 1929, of course, the Great Depression, we started going off a gold standard, a pure gold standard. And then we got into Bretton Woods system in the 50s, etc. And then, wow, what happened there? 1971, what happened in 1971, people? August 15th, 1971. Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard completely. But then, out of interest, gold had that rise because it was taken off the gold standard, had that rise, the peak in 1979, 1980, but since 1980, a steady decline as gold being an international reserve. Pardon me, I apologize. But since 1980, all the way to the lows of the early 2000s. But look at this little interesting tick. Look at this, people. Is this from a charting perspective? Is this the left side of a cup or a bowl? Right there, a big bowl or a cup, a huge cup. And look at the direction it's going now. This looks like the accumulation period, that you would see, a bottoming out and an arc, a curve right here. And look what's happening in the last number of years. Gold is just, according to this chart, taking more center stage and more center stage as an international reserve. This is great news for you and I, and for the rest of the world, I think. So this chart above, this paints a whole different story. Instead of showing only the demise of the dollar at a snail pace, the historic balance between gold and fiat currencies is revealed. It's not the dollar that normally backs the international monetary system. It's gold. So this is showing you, yes, over history, much more history, a much longer history, gold is backing the international economy. the international monetary system? It's gold. It is. Gold used to make up the majority of international reserves, as you saw from that chart, even when sterling, as in the pound sterling, was not sterling silver as in the pound, the British pound, was said to be the world's reserve currency before the dollar. So a lot of people thought that the pound was the thing, but even then, gold was still making up the majority of the international monetary system. In a chart covering more years, but only here and the chart below, in a chart covering more years, but only gold and the dollar, the latter, gold's reign, becomes even more relative. Look at this. So that's gold's share over time. So that's 90%, close to 100% in the late 1800s. Right here, 1900. And then, of course, that steady decline, of course, US dollar becoming, this is just gold in the US dollar. Of course, the big flip in about the 90s, really, where it flipped. And then gold, that's less and less and less. But look at this uptick. Look at this. Left side of a giant cup and handle, people, or not even a cup and handle or a bowl. Could that be just for gold's share of the international monetary system? Quite possibly. But look at the trend. That's going down for the US dollar and that's going up for gold. So it's looking positive. At least the direction is looking good. And it's talking about this chart above. The above chart displays the dollar's share of total reserves has fallen to 48%, less than 50% of the US dollar's share of total reserves, fallen to 48% in 2023, caused by a declining trust in credit assets, i.e. fiat currencies, due to worrying asset bubbles, escalating wars, and fear of inflation. Gee, let me just quickly tie things together. When did we see this uptick? We had a little bit of a pause, but look at this. This recent uptick has happened in the last 4 years. Wonder why. Escalating wars. Ooh, fear of inflation. Ooh, and while gold is making ground. Convicted felon party time. Based on, now this is where it gets based on personal calculations from this author, from the author of this article. Based on personal calculations of official gold reserves that include covert acquisitions, for example by the Chinese central bank, gold percentage of total reserves has reached 18% in 2023, up 7% from 11% in 2008, so up 7% in 15 years. And here's where we talk about the euro. Gold has currently, according to this person's calculations, gold has currently surpassed the euro, which got stuck at 16%. So 18% now for gold is the international reserve, 16% for euro, according to this person's calculations. Could that person's calculations be wrong? Yeah, of course, because we're all human, blah, blah, blah. We make mistakes, and we also ruled by human incentive, right? But just take it for what it is. As the problems haunting fiat currencies won't fade anytime soon, which they won't, it's possible, more likely than possible, gold will overtake the dollar as well. So it's possible gold will overtake the dollar as well in the decade ahead. I agree. It's just moving in that direction. Be sure not to miss the X post below that includes a video illustrating the development of reserve assets. What happens when I know it opens? Don't worry about that. You can go to that thing. I'll link below to this article. You can go and watch that bar chart race. But that's basically saying, according to this person's calculations, do I have any reason to not believe them? No. Could they be incorrect? Yes. But according to this article, gold's overtaken the euro. Now, 18% of the international reserve monetary system, and euro's only at 16%. Again, according to that. But you can see the very clear direction in which gold is taking over the last few years. You can see that very clear bottoming out and that uptick right now. So looking positive for gold holders, for silver holders. Generally, where gold goes, silver follows as well. So it's looking good. Gold and precious metals are taking center stage, in the beginning of taking center stage once again. So get your last comments in about anything that we've talked about today, whether that's the convicted felon party time, whether that's the gold beating the euro as an international reserve, or gold, silver, platinum analysis that we've done. Get your last comments in, and then we will get out of here. So let's do some comments. We'll go through and then we'll do a last synchronized slurp. Make sure you have your tasty beverage ready. My name is Joe Main. This is Good Morning Stackers. And that's pretty much it, people. Any more comments? Great song. Yes, I am. Thank you. So Tony Pearson says, I have hubby hunting for Trump coins at the moment. To list them today. Good idea. Good idea to do it. Mike Emerson TV. Welcome, Mike Emerson, if you're new to the live channel. Trump 2024. Alrighty. I'm with you on that. Gold is a tier 1 asset. It is a tier 1 asset again. Once again, it's a tier 1 asset. Interesting, they've moved that back into a tier 1 asset, didn't they? What does that mean, people? Think about it. Paving the way for it to be currency again. I can't say no. It's definitely possible. I don't know about that, but you never know. Digital currency, CBDCs. We are not CBDC fans here. The Chinese renminbi will be the next world reserve currency, in your opinion? That's quite possible and very likely. If that's going to be the case, backed by gold, 100%, it would be. So that's it, people. I think we're going to leave it at that. Most of you have gotten all your comments in, so thank you so much for watching. Get your tasty beverage ready for the last synchronized slurp. We are celebrating today. It's convicted felon party time. For all the reasons, if you just joined the live show, go back and watch roughly the start. I'll put in the time codes. Why is it convicted felon party time? You will have to find out. You'll be pleasantly surprised as to why I know it is convicted felon party time today. Here at Good Morning Stackers. You'll get another one next week. Monday. It's the last day, Friday, 31st of May. Let's see what silver does. It's got to close above 31 for me for the month of May to say 100% bull market. Basically there. You can see the trajectory of gold and silver, etc. It's taking center stage. But have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy your time. And I'll see you next week for another huge week of shows. It's a Good Morning Stackers live morning show. Everything we do here, including the synchronized slurp. Here we go. In 3, 2. Have a great convicted felon party time day today. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. And don't stress. Life will be great. And it will be. Because you're alive on this planet. And everything works out in the end. I'm going to talk more about that next week. About the law of slow-moving disasters. I'll talk about that next week. Stay safe. Stay informed. Keep stacking. Party time. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.